It's a journey, y'all. It's called The Journey Within. That's what my friend said to me. She said,
Genius.
there's no greater journey than the journey within.
Alrighty, gang. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing great. Welcome back to another episode here on Roots Holistic. We are still in our soul medicine series, and this series is pretty much all about, the nourishment, the healing of the soul. I think these are medicine messages, healing messages for those parts or aspects of ourselves that we find, to be needing attention or being highlighted or shed a light upon. And, not only what we have healed, but what some of the collective are still healing, right? So it's very much apparent to me, like, especially as I'm saying this now in this moment, that there are people who are in the process of healing as well, who are about to start healing, and there are people who've already healed. But, from time to time, we need reminders as to why we are not going back to those old places, people, or things, or sometimes even situations, habits, behaviors, because, there's always a reason as to why our soul chose to go through those lessons, but then also at the same time, why we don't want to repeat those lessons and perpetuate that karmic cycle or loop. Because if you have learned a lesson truly, then you are not going to repeat the same thing, So what's that saying about mistakes? Okay, well, we learn from our mistakes, granted, but I was just thinking now, what, that fool me once, shame on me. Oh, wait, fool me? Is it fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you, or something like that, right? But I mean, again, it's like, why did that have to happen more than once in the first place? Granted, I mean, sometimes it's coming forward in a lesson, experience, something that has occurred in our lives, and then thereafter, it's a matter of saying like, okay, now you learned the lesson, now here's the test, and you get to pass the test. And granted, we don't always pass the test every single time, but it's a matter of recognition to see like, oh, this lesson or, experience is coming through this person, and or this situation, or, whatever the case may be, and it's coming forward to address a certain aspect within you. It's also a reminder that, what, we chose to go through this life to learn certain lessons, and a lot of us learn different things, but there is that common thread of saying that, no matter what your life path is, or, who you are in this incarnation, each of us have certain lessons that once we learn them, then our soul evolves or we become better people, right? So that is also bringing us back to that reminder that we are souls having a human experience, and we are here in Earth School for that reason. But what we find ourselves in, especially now within the collective space, is that there are overlapping energies between how some of us experience certain things and what we are going to see, even I think with this pre-poll here, and as we go deeper into the reading, there are experiences that we share not only with those people that we are experiencing these things with, that we need to learn from, but also with each other as the collective. Because I get the sense that this message or reading or channeling is going to be very layered in a sense. So just take what applies to you, right? As always, apply some level of discernment and take what resonates and leave the rest. I'm seeing 0401. So 4 and 1. Of course, I like to think of 4s as structure, stability, security, some sort of grounding, like 4, like a square, right? And all sides being equal, if you think of the angle, sorry. And then 1 being the individual. So we are looking towards balanced individuals, balanced oneness. Even we could think of 1 as being source, being spirit, being the creator. So looking at those in 2 ways, right? It's our own balance, but then the structure, the stability that is being brought forward by our guides, our angels, ancestors, ascended masters, all beings and forces in our favor. You feel me? So yeah, let's try drive. Oh my goodness. And I've been saying this. We're still driving. We're still moving, right? But Spirit, please come through with like an oracle card just to help us, drive and dive. What's going on? There's like a lot of motion and transport over here. Again, okay, cool. I think it's quite interesting that, movement is a sign of, again, energy in motion, emotion, but also that something is changing. Okay, this deck is quite sticky. One more time. So whatever it is, whatever transition you are going through, phase, realignment, alignment, whatever it is, I think there's something very interesting about what we're about to see here, right? Okay, one more time. Again, oh gosh, Spirit, okay. All right, gang. So please, Spirit, tell us what's this message about? What you got for us? Was I not just saying this is about medicine? This is about Wow. Wow. You know what, Spirit be cooking, and here we are saying it's soul medicine, and here we are getting the medicine guardian. This is insane, but in the most beautiful way, of course. Wow. Be open to healing information. Goodness gracious. This is amazing. Wow. You know what? When you just like tap in, tune in, it's like, yo, what you gonna do, bruh? What's that song? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we come for you? So, I'm getting that in two ways, right? One being okay, let's start with literally, right? In the bad boys coming for you, what you gonna do? When negative energies come for you, when those past experiences, the things that you've applied your medication for come back to you, what is it that you are going to do or decide to do because you are now confronted with that same challenge, that same demon, that same struggle, I would say, the same ailment, maybe even if it's like a pain or, just terror, grief, you get me? So that negative thing or whatever, fill in the blank for you, that negative person, that negative job situation, that negative manager, that negative friend, teacher, person, when they come for you again, because you have the medicine now that you know better and you are in a position to do better, what are those aspects that they trigger within you that make you fall to their whim or perhaps even fall back into the behaviors or patterns or cycles of the person that you were, the version that you were before you were healed, right? But then also the other side of that is because we're getting this from the guardian angel or the medicine guardian is to say, when we come for you, that is the time for you to recognize and actually apply the healing. It looks like, with this caduceus and with this cup here, it's like they're mixing up this tincture, this mixture of the medicine, and there's like specific ingredients that apply for whatever situation it is. And, with this imagery, I'm thinking back to what I just mentioned earlier, that because of a great big collective, what is in this cup? I'm thinking of it also like a cauldron, like how they like mixing like a potion and things like that. It's like my potion, or even on the other side, my poison is not the same that's going to work for somebody else, So what negative action, behavior, substance, whatever it may be, that is for someone is not going to be somebody else. And they would even say, like, let's say in clubs or in just places where people frequent, they would say, or even just in life, there's that saying about picking your poison. You picking what negativity you choose to embrace, but everyone has something that they align with, like, different strokes for different folks. So for some people, their poison is, smoking. Another person's poison is drinking. Another person, it's gambling. You know what I mean? So everyone has their their vice, I would say, yes. But then, with us looking at it on the contrary side, is to say everyone has something to heal that vice or temper it down, keep it under control, manage it in such a way that it can lead to healing, it can lead to growth in some shape or form. So you are breaking out of a pattern, a cycle, a habit, just a way of existence that was ultimately affecting you. So it could even be like, what was coming through for me was like, even with love, it's like how sometimes love can be toxic. So just before this reading, a song that came to mind is Showing You by Party Next Door. And in this song, he's speaking to a love interest that, is quite toxic. And, he's calling this love interest back, but then he's also aware of the trials and tribulations of the things that they went through. I mean, in relationships, people can hurt each other, but then it gets to that point where you also recognize and realize like, oh, damn, you know what, that person, I've got a soft spot for them, or sweet spot for them, because, it's like you're around somebody and you just melt, and it's like, oh, here you are again with your hugs and your kisses, XO. I don't know, maybe somebody likes The Weeknd as well, but yeah, this is coming through right now. Oh, but also, if we think about The Weeknd has so many songs about love and, the shadow side of love, right? So imagine now someone being in a relationship where they experience the shadow of love with them, and they are now meant to learn like, oh, wow, this shadow love experience, this toxic, quote unquote, toxic love experience is made for me to learn that love can be better, love can be more wholesome, love can be, applying and gratifying in multiple areas or aspects of my life, or the life of, that person, you, us, collective, right? So here's Spirit coming through with the medicine. And, I've got this prequel here, and I think we're just going to go into it. What's coming through for me, now that I'm even being drawn back to looking at these lyrics again, it's a reminder of like this negative energy or person or situation coming back to test you, to see if you've really grown, to see if you've really overcome the lesson or the challenge that they presented to you. And, because you were away from it, let's say a period of separation, no contact, something of that sort, where you could be away from the impact or the inflicting energy, such that you could heal and grow and expand. 1244. Now here, this energy comes back around again. And now it's like your opportunity to apply some discernment. So, like I was making that example about like a test and being in school, where let's say you were tested the first time and you didn't pass the test, but now you have that opportunity. Here it comes around again. It's like even in school, you failed a grade, but you get to redo it because now you've understood it from a different point of view, a different perspective. So very much about our heart space and where we're at. I'm even looking at, the color green here, but then also what mixture did we learn? What did we learn that works for us? And how are we going to now apply it in this situation with this return of this energy? Cool. So I'm gonna jump to, okay, still more about this song. Okay, I'm looking at the lyrics here, and it says, okay, let me read it to you. It says, just stay here for me, even though I broke your heart a million times. It's not a victory till the day I finally make you mine. I made a decision that if I spend a little more time showing you instead of telling you, and loving you, quit pretending to. Boy, I stop hurting you, 'cause I know he hurts you so much. Stop being afraid. I can only stop a few times a week. I'ma keep you straight. I'ma keep it neat for you. So, what's coming through? Okay, Spirit is actually wanting to speak about this energy a lot more. So it's like this energy comes to you in a new way, a refined way, pre-packaged. It's like, let's say 1430. Let's say it's like your ex comes back, or maybe a place where you used to work. They come back and they offer you a new opportunity to be with them, to collaborate with them, to love them, to build something new with them. And there's a promise of them being better, treating you better, not repeating the same cycles that you once experienced with them, or same behaviors, actions, and they've pretty much recognized that without you being there, it could even be like a friend, it could even be a family member. They recognize that without you being there, their life was not what they wanted for themselves, and they would rather have a life with you in it. But it's now up to you to test whether the energy is truly of God, whether the energy is truly in alignment with who you are and what it is that you would like to participate in. You're not going to now, again, forsake yourself. But there are some people who are going to get into this experience to realize that, oh, I thought I healed, but I only healed up to like 80%. And there's still another 20% for me to go because I didn't know that. Oh, goodness, my shoulder's getting itchy. I didn't know that I was still carrying something that, that, I still needed to heal, that I hadn't let go of. And look at this. Here we have the letting go card. Okay, Spirit wants us to really start getting into the message. So that's beautiful. At the back of the deck, we have the Druid, which is hold the space. But we'll get into that. Let me just put it to the side here. So, for some people, you realize that there are things that were perhaps tough to let go of in these situations. And when they are presented to you again, it's like they have a way of like knowing how to get to you. It's like they appeal to that soft spot or to that part of you that is still vulnerable, that gets triggered, or that would ignite a certain response. But with me even looking at how, there's this ripple in the water over here, it's to say, when that droplet hits your auric field, your energetic space, how far do you let that energy spread within you? Because it's like, let's say somebody says something to you that, tugs at your heartstrings. They play you your favorite song. They just say all the right words to, kind of make you melt, to make you believe that, oh, wow, this person's really changed. They present an opportunity. Let's say it's like a job. They're going to pay you better, give you more benefits. And now that was the drop of water, right? But how it spreads is how much time you spend pondering, thinking, and, just letting it, like, what can I say? Fester in your brain or grow within your brain. Like, it's like it's being exercised within your brain, right? But then now we are at a point of realizing that with a greater level of discernment, we can choose what it is that we are going to let perpetuate or let like be cultivated in our minds. But then also, this is the first reminder of saying, granted, this energy or person situation is coming forward with this new opportunity or wanting to make amends, but then you are being called, first card, which is actually, this is the first card that I pulled, letting go, which is the 8 of Cups in reverse now. It's to say, what is it that prompted us to leave in the first place? Why did we, in the onset or initial come around or go around, decide that it was a good decision for us to let go of this person, place, situation, or thing? And we need to, granted, yes, here's this new opportunity presenting itself, but when we can remember why we left it in the first place, that is our first telltale or our first sign to say, okay, whether this opportunity is accepted or not, let us remember why we are not there so that we don't repeat the same lesson or same cycle. But with me seeing this, hey, I'm saying but quite a lot. So it's like, oh my goodness, there's a lot of buts, if, ands, or maybe. So I'm getting a lot of like pathways in my mind right now. And there's a lot to consider. Yes, so as I was saying, with this letting go in reverse, it's giving like a trouble or a difficulty to let go, if I'm thinking of it in the literal sense. But then when I relate it back to the imagery that we usually see of the 8 of Cups, it's to say taking the higher road or the higher path is so much more challenging, so much more difficult because of what this energy is, what this person means. So for example, it's like you leave a toxic job or a toxic relationship with a friend, family member, or love interest, but then it wasn't easy for you to go because, let's say it's the job, you're thinking about your salary or your pay, right? Because you've got bills. If it was like a relationship, you wanted to be, again, here we're seeing aloneness. You didn't want to be alone. You wanted companionship. You wanted people and a person maybe even to share your life and experiences with, but then they were not there for you. I think even as part of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, at the very bottom, like we saw at the beginning, number 4, we want solid structures, some grounding, some safety, some stability. And if those people or places aren't there to provide that, then of course we need to find where we can set our roots, where we can ground, right? Of course, with me saying that, I'm thinking a lot of root chakra energy here. And, when we have a balanced root chakra, we are able to, not be so dilly-dally. We are able to be firm, strong, plant our roots, and actually build upon that, set a foundation that we can build upon. So why would you now, in the consideration that's coming through, why would you want to build a foundation in a place where the foundation was once broken or shattered? Because if you were going to build a structure and then break it down again, you are now going to review that soil to see, okay, is it better conditions to build, or do I need to build elsewhere? So that higher path or that higher route or that challenge for building is being brought forward to say that sometimes it's tough to let go. Sometimes it's tough to take the higher path or the higher route. But then when we recognize how much energy it takes from us, how much it took from us to even get to that point of leaving or letting it go in the initial round or go around on the onset, then that should be our first step in determining or deciding, okay, is this something that I actually want to do, right? And I was speaking to this card here at the back of the deck, which is the aloneness. And, I think a lot of the times people make, what can I say, decisions out of scarcity or out of worry, out of fear. So, for example, let's say it's a job or it's a love situation. Okay, it's coming through as both jobs and love situations for a lot right now. But okay, I'll start with the job example, where you accept less than what you're worth because you're desperate and you need something to just help you make it to the end of the month, or you haven't been in a good financial position for quite some time and you accept less than what you deserve. But then that could also be, again, let's say in a relationship, you accept someone's friendship, you accept a lover that is just there for you because you don't want to be alone. There's a fear of being in like you're in your hermit mode, staying by yourself to actually heal for real and going into that solitude to understand not only what that person was there to teach you, but what you can learn about yourself and what you can better apply so that you don't repeat that karma and change your karma into dharma. Make it a positive thing the next time that you head out into the world. Because look at this, the politics. And this is like what, the 7 of Swords. So, I'm getting that phrase, weapon formed against me or weapon formed against you shall not prosper. And again, it's like, if this person knows exactly how to trigger you, if this person knows exactly what to say or do to trigger or bring about a certain energy reaction response from you, then it's because they are seeking that type of reaction. They want you to respond in a certain way to say, you know what, if I offer them this amount of money, if I offer them, you see, like I was saying, this energy's changed. If I can show them that, now I'll be more attentive, I'll be more loving, I'll be more caring, I'll just be what I wasn't before, or actually listen to them this time, then I know that's going to bring about, the consideration within them to say, oh, wow, if this lover is better this time, maybe we can get back together. Or if this job isn't toxic this time, maybe I could work there again. But Are you making that decision out of a fear of being alone, out of scarcity, out of a lack mindset? Because when we do make those decisions out of lack, out of scarcity, out of worry, we introduce that energy into the dynamic, into the relationship, and eventually we end up having to learn that lesson within that environment, within that place. So now we are being presented with the opportunity. Oh my goodness, all these shivers now. To recognize that we've learned these past lessons. The universe will test you. The universe will check you like, hey, are you really about that life? You really got it like that, like that? Did you really, get what you needed to get in your hermit phase, when you separated yourself, when you went no contact, when you decided to explore other people, other opportunities? Did you really learn what you needed to learn? And are you actually ready to leap and take the step towards better, for more abundance, more blessings, But the universe will test us to see if we're truly ready, to see if we're ready to graduate, to be promoted as well. So you can even apply this here. I'm speaking a lot about like a job or a love interest, but with me even thinking about promotion, graduation, this could even be within ourselves. Like let's say it's in your spiritual journey where you perhaps used to open yourself up energetically to people, maybe overextending, overgiving all the time. But now can you start to direct that energy towards yourself, your creativity, your passions, the things that you want to bring about into fruition, into your reality? And I'm getting something about like a sacredness of your spirituality, and like knowing that there are certain vulnerable parts of yourself and even your spirit team that you're not going to now open and expose to other people. So it's like, oh my word. I'm thinking now like how there's a partner that I once was with, right? And she had done readings on me without my permission. And it's a matter of saying that, you know what, there are some people that we expose ourselves to spiritually and let's say even physically, by being intimate or sexual with them. But then for them to, let's say, in this case, right, in this example, for her to have done readings on me without my permission was crossing a boundary. It was to say that I did not consent. So her having that idea or belief or notion that it was okay to cross my spiritual boundary was wrong. And that is where, there was a lesson in that to say like, yo, this is meant to be treated with much more delicacy and, it's fragility as well, because you don't just like impede on someone's spiritual information or what it is that they're doing. Because even let's say with tarot cards or even other means or methods of divination, they are sacred. They are meant to be appreciated for what they are, but they're not abused. And now I could view that as a means of saying, oh damn, I was like spiritually abused, if you want to think of it that way. Of course, no trigger, not intending to trigger anyone, but I understand like that's what's gonna happen, right? Even in the last reading I said something about that. So I don't know, I think that, like, when we heal, we are also confronted with our triggers, not only the things that the external energies have done to us, but also how we have put ourselves in those situations. So, I'll use myself as an example again, same story, where, there's something that I could have or done that gave her the impression that it was okay to cross my spiritual boundaries. And that's what allowed her to feel like, okay, I can do this, whereas it was completely wrong and something that I didn't necessarily agree or associate with, right? So me having learned from that would be that if she ever came around again, I'm not now going to allow that exchange of energy to occur once again. And granted, I don't always like get really deep into the stories that I share about myself, but I think this one needed 2929. Spirit wanted me to be a little bit more personal with this one, and I think that's just how personal we need to get with ourselves, how honest and how upfront we need to get with ourselves. But then also a recognition to say, if we are not honest, if we are not in the position to, learn truly, fully what those people, those experiences taught us, then we are putting ourselves in a position for those things to happen all over again. With my right hand side going off, it's also coming across as like, yo, that was a warning. That was like, that was an indication of what love shouldn't be like, because there are ways to connect and bond with people spiritually, physically, emotionally, in whichever state, of course, just an example, that are more fruitful, that are more nourishing, that are more encouraging, uplifting as well. So, with me even saying that, now I'm even relating to this message to say like, oh, damn, like if any of my exes came back, I'm like also gonna, granted, spend some time thinking about it, but I'm not going to let it last so long that it affects, where I'm at now in my journey. Because again, I'll also be reminded of why I left, 3053. And some things are perhaps best left in the past. And if any energy is to be embraced for me, right? And I think even for you as the collective, which is what we're going to think about, is to say, is it working with where we are now? Is this something that God, universe, source, our guardians, angels, ancestors actually want for us now? And having that wisdom, that trust to know that there is something that's going to come from that engagement or that interaction with spirit that's going to give us the sign or the indication. Granted, our intuition as well, it's going to speak to us and let us know like, hey, remember this? Okay, cool. But now here's the situation. This person is actually masking themselves. It's a facade, maybe option one. Or option two, this person is actually meant to be in your life. And here are the reasons why you guys need to, do something to resolve or, something of that sort. But again, I think it is coming through as more like, again, with me, like me going off with my right ear, it's like coming through as like a warning to say, you know what, if we are going to accept things that we once let go of, why are we doing that? And are we going to learn the same lesson all over again or perpetuate that cycle? Because here's this healing information being brought to us and we need to be open to that. So, that healing information also sometimes can come through various sources, because what if that person that you've let go is going to be your reminder of just how much you've grown, just how much you have evolved and you are no longer the same person. So you being open to the healing information means that you shouldn't also be skeptical or judging the source of where the information comes from, because sometimes, your greatest lesson comes from your enemy, comes from the person that you have cut contact with, the person that you no longer even want to entertain, but then they are there to indicate to you just how much you've grown, or even other areas where you still need to grow. And it doesn't mean that you need to accept them or give them a place in your space, in your life. Go back to that job, friend, lover, all over again, right? Cool. Hey, I'm just busy clearing up this, like these small little marks. So with me even thinking about that, it's like maybe there are little traces, little elements, little pieces of the puzzle that are now going to start making sense. It's like with that example that I gave where you healed 80% and that little 20%, it's like a new piece of information is going to come your way to help you fully heal or fully put that chapter, that aspect of your experience to bed and allow yourself to move forward with greater clarity. And here we have, at the back of this deck here, the Ace of Swords. This is clarity. This is new information. And, with me even seeing it in the middle of the face, and then we have the Two of Swords falling after that over here. It's like we are now going to be able to discern and take action on this truth and know what is a lie, know what is for us. But then this new information, this clarity can allow us to make better decisions for ourselves, right? And I think that's dope. That's amazing. And what is it leading to? Our success, our victory, 3418. That's wonderful. That's amazing. Because with clarity, why wouldn't we make a decision that leads to our success? Because now we have a clear mind. We are acting or performing behaving from a point of clarity. There's no longer any fog. There's no longer any like veil or mist or something that's like, gonna dwindle you or swindle you, even like, trick you. Because what did we see? The politics at the back of this one. There's no more trickery. There's no more games that are like, and you see with it being in reverse, it's like that trickery is coming to an end. Your aloneness is coming to an end because you've never been alone. You've always had your spirit team. You've always had, your higher self as well. You've always had God, angels, guardians, ancestors there to support you. But what you had done before is not what you're going to do now. Because now this clarity is coming through and it's going to lead you to this victory, this success for yourself, your individual success and recognition. And now you can step into a greater chapter, era, or period and move towards your future knowing better. So you're doing better, right? And look at this. Now we have the Six of Coins here, also in reverse. This is a view of just how much we engage with energy, how much we give, how much we take. But how this is coming through now is to say, we are not going to give in a way that is not sustaining or self-sustaining. We are not going to pour so much. We're not going to, like I was saying earlier, overextend or give so much or self-sacrifice, self-sabotage when we know better. So this is an evaluation as to how much we are giving and taking, how we are in our energetic exchanges, right? And also not just energy, but time, our money, in our home, in our careers, in just our friendships, whatever engagements that we have with external energies, how much do we give and take in that? And we need to recognize, with the justice scales in there, with the Libra scales, it's like, okay, maybe some is that was a tongue twister for a second. Maybe somebody's a Libra, but I think maybe it's just Libra energy coming into the reading to say, how can we be better at balancing things? How can we be better judges of character as well? Because this energy is coming in and we need to observe it for what it truly is, right? But I think it's beautiful that, at the background of this message, or, what we need to, okay, Spirit's wanting me to put this down here. What we are recognizing is to say that, there is a level of clarity that is being brought forward to us. And that is this information, right? We are being presented with an opportunity to heal further. So it looks like we've healed a lot, but maybe something else needs to be brought into the healing. All right. So going into these three cards that I've got down here, we've got the Two of Swords in reverse. We've got the Nine of Cups in reverse, and we've got the Ace of Coins in the upright. I was about to say in reverse, but that's clearly not what the case is. But maybe that's a warning to say like, oh, wow, if we don't heed this information, if we don't heed this message, then our Ace of Coins, our new opportunity, our new experience, our new job, our new path way could be affected negatively and kind of take us back in a sense where, we were working towards this new thing, but then now it gets taken away or it's delayed, right? So I think that's kind of why I was thinking about saying that in the reverse, but it's cool. Actually, let me read it backwards. So Nine of Cups in reverse, it's like your personal triumph, your personal fulfillment, your cake, having your cake and eating it too. You are not going to destroy that, or mess that up. With me even looking at this is like, a table around them. It's like a round table. And with me just looking at it this way, I'm thinking of it like as gravity, or like in the reverse where the sheet or the cloth on the table would actually be like falling off or lifting up. It's like a skirt lifting up and you get to see what's underneath. So it's like, what would be unearthed from you not heeding the information or heeding the message, because it wouldn't now, lead to your fulfillment, because now you are again unearthing the pain, unearthing that experience that wasn't fulfilling anymore, where you were working towards not only being happy within yourself before you are happy with other people, but now it's like, okay, I'm flipping that around in a sense, but it's like we are working towards being happy within ourselves, then being happy with others. But if you are not even happy within yourself first, yes, then how can you be happy with other people? But then this situation, this energy, this person is coming at you in such a way that they are digging at you and digging at the parts of you that you've taken so much time to actually heal, where you have taken the time to actually find fulfillment in those places or spaces, right, within yourself first. And it's like delaying again, affecting all that progress, all that achievement that you've now achieved or come to experience, that you've been awarded with, that you've been graduated or promoted to or with. Now it's like that gets taken away, because this is that indication that, the lesson was not learned, or you got triggered again. You fell into their whim, their cycle, their way of doing and thinking again, because this Two of Swords would be that exact indicator, sign, synchronicity to say, I was given an opportunity to decide where I wanted to go with the information that I had back then. And now I'm being given the same opportunity, and we can't forsake that opportunity, because, well, what's that saying of like, what? A zebra never changes its stripes, or a leopard doesn't change its stripes, like something like that. But it's like, once a cheater, always a cheater type of a thing. It's like some people won't change if you can see that they are still within the same mental construct. Again, me thinking mental with the swords. So it's like if somebody is still exhibiting the behaviors of that version of 4114, and they mirroring that version that you would like to see, but then they are just saying things to butter you up, but then they are still showing signs of those old behaviors or actions, then why entertain them? But then on the other side of that, because we were speaking to the two pathways, sometimes somebody has actually learned and they are better. So you are not now going to forsake your ability to discern, or not take the decision that's going to allow you to decide or see like, oh, damn, I could do this, I could not do this, but does it affect my level of fulfillment? And also, does it affect my blessing? The beautiful thing that I've been manifesting or trying to work with or attract or, bring into my reality, into my experience. How does this affect my time, my money, my home, my relationships, if I am to introduce, embrace, or entertain this energy? So you are very much like being called to go back to yourself. And even with the blindfold here and all the other characters that we're seeing here in the card, is to say, can you like quiet the noise? Can you actually get to this clarity where you are just by yourself? And it's like, you see how on the on the outer rim or border of this card, it's like the clouds are on the edge, so you have cut through the clouds, which is also this sword right in the middle. You've cut through the confusion by and dimmed the voices, all those other influences, noises, just things that will kind of like impact or project or even impart other energies that are like interfering with you, so that you can actually make a decision that is not influenced by any other energy that wasn't necessarily what you thought or felt would have been what is best for you. So this is you making a decision, thinking about yourself first. Some people might say it's selfish, but can we be selfless as well, where we recognize that we are the ones who need to be feeling good to be part of any situation, to be part of anything that we decide to be a part of, because we are aware of how we are going to show up in those situations. So if you have anything that's unresolved, or they trigger an aspect of you that you realize like, hey, you know what, maybe not so much, maybe I don't like this really so much, because I don't like who I am, or how I feel, how my intuition is being, triggered in this case, or, unraveled, things coming apart within me. So how can I be the solid person who is whole that can show up for you or whatever this situation is? So, yo, man, this is crazy. This is so crazy. Wow. I must say, like, just as a, just a little break from the message, just a little diversion point here, is to say, like, I never fully know where Spirit's gonna take us, 4433. But it's like, wow, it's just so beautiful just to listen and just to be attentive, just to trust that, like, you know what, whatever is happening is for our highest and greatest good. And the messages, the information that comes in is actually, it's not even a diversion point. Spirit's like, it's part of the reading. It's like, oh wow, that's actually what Spirit wants us to do, to look at the diversion points, to actually take a moment to like breathe for a second and just like like review this information. Where is it coming from? What is it? Is it the poison, or is it the potion? Is it the healing, or is it the detriment? You know what I mean? It's like, where is it like forming part of our cycle, our loving, our caring? And you know, with the heart, I'm looking at the greens here, of course, with the heart being in the center of our chakras, right? It's like, it's between all the, oh, getting all these shivers as well, it's between the lower chakras, it's between the higher chakras. And it's like, when we can fully let love lead and we do what is right, sometimes what is right is not what's good for everyone in the situation, but what is right. Look at me even putting the 9 of cups first. It's like, can you put yourself first and your fulfillment for one, so that when you do make this decision, it's actually the best decision. It brings about a new chapter, a new leaf, for not only you, but even those people, because who knows what they were banking on? Who knows what they were hoping to bring about? And it'll be on you now to make that right decision. I mean, I'm just actually taking notice how, like, how Finn here is, like, you know, dressed in like a suit, and there he has like the clipboard. And it's like, you know what, this could be again like that example about work, where they are like ducking and diving. You know how, like, how he's curled over here or curving over here. It's like, how are we gonna find a way to slither into your world, into your work life, or into your world? But then if it really is for you, then it will fit. It will take the shape that is fitting to you, you know? It will find a way that works for you. And, you know, I was thinking of it in the reverse, where they can slither and be like sly and stuff and try to like poke you and trigger the bear. And I mean, poke the bear and trigger you, goodness. But then some things that are just perfect matches or fit for you, they won't be so hard. They like, it's like, you know how love can be easy. You know, love doesn't have to be so challenging anymore. Things can just flow, because that's also what this curve could be taken as. It's like everything is just flowing. The opportunity came at the right time. It suits me. I want it. It wants me. You're attracted to this thing. It's, you know, it's allowing you opportunities to grow, to learn, to be a better person, professionally, personally. And again, apply this to even with, say, school. You know, like, you found a school in the right place, you got the right residence, you know, it's not too much of a stress to get there in time in the morning. I mean, you know, when things just align, when the universe just says yes, like, who are we to say no? Like, come on, gang, like, we just gotta move with this thing, you know? Thank you, Spirit. Okay, third one was just for control. Plus, you know, me and the number 3, it's always a important number. And of course, I mean, 3 cards here, and of course, 3 being the collaboration, the union with our spirit team, the co-creation, the collaboration. I mean, the working together, and me saying collaboration, because spirit wants to work with us. It's like, why give us this information if we were not going to do something about it and do something better? In my mind's eye, I'm seeing the 3 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Pentacles is like, you know, somebody who's building, and they are receiving the instruction, they are receiving the information, the guidance to say, we can go this path, we can stay here, or we can go that path. It's like all the, again, the diversion points are being made clear. It's like laying down the blueprint, you know. Now I'm seeing the 2 of Wands. But it's like, yo, you are at a point where you can now decide whether you want to build, create, go back, be stagnant. But no matter what's going to happen, there is this union, there is this information, and there is clarity. So rather position yourself, even if it takes some time, be in the right direction rather than thinking about the speed. And even with the healing, rather know what you're going to heal than spend all this time in a healing cycle or healing loop, because why do you want to hold on to something that you need to let go, whereas you could be better informed and use your energy more wisely, and not like dissipate or disperse this energy in a way that is not, fruitful to you, or not really doing anything? So then here's this new opportunity to say, you know what, here's the energy that you need, and here's the energy that's gonna, like, I'm looking at this tattoo that I have over here on my wrist, which is like, yo, here's your chance to take flight. Here's your chance to catch the wind in your sails. It's like, even with me thinking about it, like being like a ship, where you will be directed in a particular path, and then you can change the sail to change the direction. But then once you are in the right direction, now you just want to catch the wind. Now you just want to have the air moving you. So air element, I don't know if somebody is an air sign right now, but then of course I'm just thinking about how air is very fast moving. So rather get into the right direction, so that by the time the momentum catches up with you, you're moving in the right direction regardless of the speed. You know what I mean? But with me also thinking air, I'm seeing the wings over here. So again, the taking flight. So where you want to fly to? How high do you want to fly? We fly high, no lie. You know this. Ballin'! And what? Ballin' because Six of Wands, our success, our victory. Spirit wants us to win. Win, win, win. J-Rock win. And just like the initial song again that we channeled, which was The Party Next Door, showing you, Spirit is showing us, our higher self is showing us, God, angels, the medicine guardian here is showing us, like, yo, do you see what we're trying to show you? Have you learned from us showing you before, or do we need to show you again? But regardless of what's happening, it's clarity, and we're going to our success. So I think that's beautiful. I was like thinking about like pulling more cards, but it's like, oh, actually, like we good. We good. But before we wrap up here, right, let's just go to the back of this deck, which is the Jade, Hold the Space. And okay, Spirit, what are you saying? You want to go in some more? I mean, we could, but I think okay, let me feel this for a little bit. Where have we missed something on this one? No. Here. Okay, cool. All right, let's just go with this one. I think there's maybe one more in here. All right. Holding the space. Oh, what? Yo, I just noticed this synchronicity. This guy is giving hermit vibes, and here he is with the stick, right? And look at this one over here. Same thing. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. You know what, man? It's like, it's so easy for us to like, I would say, not recognize the importance of our solitude, and why Spirit wants us to spend time by ourselves. I'm just thinking about myself, like my separation from certain people, places, or spaces was leading to my elevation, because when I was away from those energies, I was able to discern what was my energy and what was the energy of that person, that place, or that situation. And I think that is so prevalent for this message in the collective here, is to say, when we are being tasked or even asked to go our own way, I mean, even in the manosphere, they like to say that men who go their own way and stuff. But it's pretty much to say that, like, you are needing to go within yourself to find new standards, new ways of living, to better understand what it is that is better suited for you, to like, come on now, here, like here on Roots Holistic, we take the journey within. So you are going to go into yourself to find that space being, of course, like an actual space, but the galaxy within you, the space within you, because there's a galaxy outside of us, but there's a galaxy within us. So you are needing to hold that space within you to say, wow, if I'm unlimited in my nature, in my being, then I need to treasure and harness this unlimited nature, this unique nature for my use, but then also only introduce the energies, people, places, spaces, and things that are worthy or deserving of this infinite nature, because it multiplies, it is exponential when combined with the right parts, with the right energies. 54, 54. So, with me even realizing now, it's like we've been catching mirror numbers earlier on, and then we caught like double numbers. So it's like these things need to double up, because that recognition of I'm the galaxy within, and then other people are, let's say somebody also has done or gone through their own journey within, their own ego unaliving, their own shadow work. Two people who have done the shadow work can finally meet as reciprocal energies and see like, oh wow, we can actually build something here, we can actually add to each other. But then with me even putting them like this, where the one is the upright, one is in the reverse, there's a possibility that one person did go on the journey within and one person didn't go on the journey within, which is why we are presented with this message and why it's coming through in these different ways, right? With this diversion point to say, if God, angels, guardians, ancestors want you there, use your intuition. Like 55, 58, discern. What did you learn? And is it really good for you? I like to say, or even in me thinking, there's a lyric that I have in a song of mine where I say, if you're the one, then God will let me know. And in the song, I'm directing the words to, a significant other, where I'm saying, if you're the one, then God will let me know. Is to say that, regardless of any love interests that I may meet, I'm now at a point where I'm trusting that I'll feel, whether within my intuition or even within my spiritual team communicating to me, whatever signs and synchronicities that come my way will make it known or clear or apparent to me to say, this person actually is for you, and here are the reasons why. Or if this person is for you, you just have to trust that those reasons will be revealed over time, because there are some cases where, you're only given like a piece of the puzzle. On the opposite side of that, this person is not for you, and here are the reasons why. Or this person is not for you, and we're not going to have to tell you what their evil intentions or their evil setup and traps and plans are, but you just need to trust that even though you don't see the whole picture, just leave that situation, leave that job, leave that home, leave that, whatever it is. Wow. I'm also being reminded of how important it is for us to hold the space, because let's say it's like using a relationship example where you get hurt, you are heartbroken, and instead of staying single to heal, you can easily jump into another relationship. Maybe it's like a rebound or something, or into another relationship, rebound or not, that now is, occupying the space again. And you didn't give yourself a chance to grieve, to heal, and get over what actually went wrong or what went awry, because now you bring that same unhealed version of yourself into the new connection and it gets perpetuated all over again. Whereas you holding the space would mean that you could actually have a period of time between relationships where when you are by yourself, you are now reviewing, what did I do wrong? Because you know what? We are also recognizing ourselves. We are holding ourselves accountable. And what did that person do wrong? Or what did they do to teach me, what I needed to learn for myself in my journey? But a lot of the time, we must recognize that we allow people to treat us a certain way. So, I like to think of it like a finger, or pointing. One finger is pointing at the person, the place, or the situation, but there are three fingers pointing back at us. Like, can we check ourselves, not even double check, can we triple check ourselves before we even cast blame on anyone else? Because our energetic field, our aura put out an energy, a communication, even without us even saying it verbally, about how we viewed ourselves, how we wanted to be treated, what we were willing to accept, and what we thought we were deserving of. But then when we heal and now know better, do better, feel that we deserve better, it's in our energetic field. And certain people will be attracted to that. Some people will be repelled from that. But then when some people come to our space because they were in our space before, we need to now, wakker word. We need to wake up. Siavuga. We are opening our eyes and, putting on our spiritual sunglasses, which I don't have on today. But again, just, metaphorically speaking, here is to say you are applying a level of discernment to see things from a spiritual point of view, to say, where is this in my, lessons? Where is this in my path? And of course, the hermit is going on a path, right? And is this adding to my wisdom, my knowledge, my experience? And am I in a place where I can now apply that? Wow. 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 All right, gang, let's leave it right here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode here on Roots Holistic with our soul medicine. Peace and love, gang. Yeah, yeah.